Chosen one. Before you clicked on this message, before this video appeared in front of your eyes, before this very moment, something was already moving in the spiritual realm. This is not an accident. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. God does not operate through coincidence. And if you are hearing these words right now, there is a reason bigger than your pain, bigger than your confusion, bigger than the battles you have been fighting in silence. Listen carefully. Out of billions of people on this planet, God saw you. Out of billions of souls walking through this world, God called your name, not because you were perfect, not because you were the strongest, not because everyone believed in you, but because He placed something inside you that could not be duplicated, something heaven recognizes, something darkness fears, something destiny has been waiting for. Hear this clearly. The reason your life has felt different is because it is different. The reason you never fully fit in is because you were never created to blend in. The reason you have walked through seasons of isolation is because God was separating you from what could not go where He is taking you. And right now, at this very moment, you stand at the edge of a transformation that will change everything, because the mission placed in your hands was never ordinary. It was divine. It was written before your first breath, before anyone knew your name, before your first victory, before your first heartbreak, before your first tear. God already knew. God already planned. God already prepared. And today, He is reminding you, you are chosen, you are called, you are being awakened, and nothing can stop what God has ordained. There is something you must understand. The pain was not random. The rejection was not random. The betrayal was not random. The loneliness was not random. Nothing was random. For years you questioned why. Why did they leave? Why did they betray you? Why did the people you loved misunderstand you? Why did doors close? Why did opportunities disappear? Why did life become so heavy? You prayed, you waited, you cried, and heaven seemed silent. But hear this clearly. Silence does not mean absence. Just because God was quiet does not mean God was gone. Many of the greatest works of God happen in silence. Seeds grow in silence. Roots grow in silence. Preparation happens in silence. And while you were asking God why, God was preparing you for something you could not yet see. Listen carefully. The chosen often mistake preparation for punishment. They think God has abandoned them. They think they are forgotten. They think heaven has moved on. But what if the very season that broke your heart was actually building your future? What if every disappointment was divine protection? What if every closed door was God redirecting your path? What if every betrayal revealed who could not go with you? Because God has a pattern. Before elevation comes separation, before promotion comes preparation, before destiny comes testing. The world sees the glory, God sees the process. The world sees the crown, God sees the wilderness. And many people want the crown without the wilderness. But chosen ones are different. God trains them in hidden places, away from applause, away from attention, away from recognition, because character is built where nobody is watching. And perhaps that is why your journey has felt so lonely. Perhaps that is why people could not understand you. Perhaps that is why your path never looked like everyone else's. Because you were never called to follow their path. You were called to follow God's path, even when it hurt, even when it confused you, even when it made no sense. Hear this clearly. The enemy attacked you because he recognized something valuable inside you. Darkness does not fight empty vessels. Darkness fights purpose. Darkness fights destiny. Darkness fights calling. And from an early age, many chosen people experience unusual battles, not because they are cursed, but because they are called. The enemy sees potential before many people do, and he tries to destroy it before it awakens. That explains some things, doesn't it? The battles that seemed bigger than you, the wounds that cut deeper than expected, the heartbreak that nearly broke your spirit, the disappointments that left you questioning everything. Yet somehow you survived. Somehow you kept moving. Somehow you are still here. And that is not weakness, that is evidence, evidence that God has been carrying you all along. Think about all the moments you should have given up. Think about all the moments you almost quit. Think about all the nights when tears became your only language. Yet God sustained you, not because the battle was easy, but because your purpose was greater than the battle. The people who left were not always losses. Some were removals. Some were assignments that expired. Some were lessons disguised as relationships. And God had to remove them because they could not accompany you into your next season. You called it heartbreak. God called it protection. You called it rejection. God called it redirection. You called it the end. God called it preparation. And now, as you look back, pieces begin connecting. You see things differently. You understand things differently. You realize that every storm carried a lesson. Every battle carried strength. Every wound carried wisdom. Every tear carried growth. Nothing was wasted. Not one prayer, not one disappointment, not one sacrifice, not one moment of waiting. God was using all of it, even the parts you hated, even the parts you wanted erased, even the chapters you never wanted to live through, because chosen ones are forged in fire. They are shaped through pressure. They are strengthened through resistance. And what once felt like destruction was actually construction. God was building something inside you, something stronger, something wiser, something deeper, something capable of carrying the mission now placed in your hands. And hear this clearly. The preparation season is ending. The awakening season is beginning. The confusion is lifting. The purpose is becoming visible. The breakthrough is approaching, not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because God's timing is perfect. Always perfect, even when it hurts, even when it delays, even when it makes no sense. God's timing remains perfect, and the mission He placed inside you is finally beginning to reveal itself. The very thing you suffered through is becoming the very thing that empowers you. The pain is becoming purpose. The wounds are becoming wisdom. The tests are becoming testimony. The struggle is becoming strength. And soon, very soon, you will understand why you had to walk through everything you survived. Because the mission required it. The calling required it. Destiny required it, and heaven never stopped believing in you, not for 1 second, not for 1 moment, not for 1 breath. God is saying, I was there when you cried. I was there when they left. I was there when you felt abandoned. I was there when you questioned everything, and I am still here. Chosen one, this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the awakening, the beginning of the transformation, the beginning of the breakthrough that follows endurance. And what comes next will reveal why the preparation had to be so deep. Because God never prepares ordinary people this way. He prepares people carrying extraordinary assignments. There is a season that every chosen person must face. A season few understand. A season that feels painful while it is happening, but powerful once it is finished. It is called separation. And if you have felt people drifting away, if friendships have suddenly ended, if relationships have become distant, if conversations no longer feel the same, listen carefully. This may not be happening to you, this may be happening for you, because before God elevates, He separates. Before He reveals, He conceals. Before He promotes, He prepares. And before He opens the next door, He removes what cannot walk through it. Hear this clearly. Not everyone assigned to your past is assigned to your future. That truth hurts. But it is necessary. Many chosen people spend years trying to keep people that God is trying to release. They beg for explanations. They chase closure. They fight to save relationships heaven has already finished. And in doing so, they delay their own healing. But God is saying, stop chasing what I removed. Stop mourning what I protected you from. Stop trying to reopen doors I closed, because what I have prepared for you requires room. It requires freedom. It requires clarity. It requires separation. The hardest betrayals often come right before the biggest breakthroughs. The deepest disappointments often appear right before divine appointments. The greatest tests often arrive right before promotion. This is why many chosen people become discouraged at the very moment they should remain strong. The breakthrough is near, but all they can see is the pain. The blessing is approaching, but all they can feel is the loss. The answer is coming, but all they can hear is silence. Yet God is still working, even when nothing appears to be moving, even when everything feels delayed, even when heaven seems quiet. God is still working behind the scenes, beyond your understanding, beyond your sight, beyond your timeline. Chosen one, have you noticed how different you feel lately? The things that once entertained you no longer satisfy you. The places that once felt familiar now feel empty. The people who once understood you now seem distant. The old version of you is disappearing. And that can feel frightening, because transformation often feels like loss before it feels like victory. The old self cannot fully comprehend the new self, yet transformation continues anyway, because God is not asking permission from your comfort zone. He is calling you into purpose. And purpose requires change. Some of your greatest battles have not been physical. They have been spiritual. Battles nobody else could see. Battles fought in your thoughts. Battles fought in your emotions. Battles fought during long nights when nobody knew what you carried. The enemy tried to convince you that you were alone. He tried to convince you that you were forgotten. He tried to convince you that your prayers were useless. He tried to convince you that nothing would ever change. But he lied, because if nothing was coming, there would be no reason to attack you so intensely. The resistance is evidence. The warfare is evidence. The pressure is evidence. Something significant is near. Something powerful is near. Something heaven has been preparing is near. And the enemy knows it. That is why fear increased. That is why confusion increased. That is why discouragement increased. Because darkness becomes desperate when destiny approaches. Hear this clearly. You are closer than you think. Closer than yesterday. Closer than last year. Closer than every moment you almost quit. The breakthrough is not a fantasy. The breakthrough is a promise. And your perseverance has not gone unnoticed. Heaven saw every tear. Heaven heard every prayer. Heaven witnessed every battle. God never missed a single moment, not one. And now He is saying, stay faithful, stay focused, stay watchful. Do not return to what I delivered you from. Do not settle for less than what I promised. Do not allow temporary pain to make permanent decisions. Because what is coming is worth the process. What is coming is worth the waiting. What is coming is worth the tears. The mission placed in your hands is bigger than you realize. Lives will be impacted. People will be encouraged. Light will reach places that darkness tried to claim. Your story will become someone else's survival guide. Your testimony will become someone else's breakthrough. Your victory will become proof that God still works miracles. That is why the enemy fought so hard. That is why the process felt so intense. That is why the preparation took so long, because the assignment is significant. And heaven does not prepare significant assignments casually. God has been shaping you, strengthening you, refining you, purifying your motives, deepening your faith, preparing your spirit. And now, the season of awakening is here, the season of clarity is here, the season of movement is here, the season of elevation is here. Not overnight, not instantly, but undeniably. Step by step, day by day, but torn by promise, God is leading you forward, and nobody can stop what God has ordained. No betrayal, no enemy, no delay, no obstacle, no fear, no darkness. Nothing, because what God has spoken over your life will not return empty. His purpose will stand, His promise will stand, His calling will stand, and you will stand with it. Because you were never abandoned. You were being prepared. You were never forgotten. You were being refined. You were never defeated. You were being strengthened. And now, the world is about to witness what God was doing in secret. Chosen one, if you have heard this message all the way to the end, hear this one final truth. You are not here by accident. You are not watching by accident. You are not breathing by accident. God knew this moment would come. He knew every battle, every wound, every disappointment, every lonely night, every unanswered question, and through it all, He never left your side, not once. The road was difficult, the process was painful, the waiting felt endless. But your story is not ending in defeat. Your story is moving toward purpose, toward healing, toward transformation, toward destiny. The pain was not the conclusion. The pain was the preparation. The betrayal was not the conclusion. The betrayal was the revelation. The waiting was not the conclusion. The waiting was the preparation for divine timing. And now God is saying, trust me, even now, especially now, because what I promised is still alive, what I planted is still growing, what I ordained is still coming. Chosen one, stand tall, keep believing, keep praying, keep trusting, keep moving forward. The breakthrough is closer than it appears. The victory is closer than it feels. The purpose is greater than the pain. And the God who carried you this far will carry you the rest of the way. If this message spoke directly to your spirit, comment. Chosen, let it be a declaration of faith, a declaration of purpose, a declaration that you refuse to quit, a declaration that you trust God's timing. And if this message strengthened your spirit, subscribe and join this community for more powerful, faith-filled messages designed to awaken the chosen generation. Remember, the world may not understand you. People may misjudge you. The journey may become lonely. But God knows exactly who you are, and He has never stopped writing your story. Stay faithful. Stay strong. Stay watchful. Your season is coming, and when it arrives, everything you survived will finally make sense. God bless you. And never forget, you are chosen.